comment section got shut off again. Strange how someone is shutting off the comment section, at least from my perspective. I can't see what's being said. Suddenly it just stops working. But doesn't really matter, since after the video's done, the comments disappear. You know, like what normally happens on people's pages. So what you'll see is I'll have like 7,000 views and, you know, 2 comments or something if somebody happens to comment after I'm live. How does that make sense? If it's anything other than censorship, then what is actually happening here? I got a buddy who's really smart. He's an engineer, you know. He's one of the people I actually go to for information. But I keep showing it to him. And he's like, well, how do you only have 16 likes with 7,000 views? You answer me. Where's your comments go? Well, what is... He tries to use his engineering brain to figure it out, but he can't. Funny because, you know, this is one of the people I knew growing up. So this dude's seen me, you know, throwing up car bombs in the back of his future wife's car. This dude's seen me act like a complete idiot because I was a fucking dumbass for a long time. He can't see me as a revolutionary. He can't see me as the threat that I clearly am to whatever conspiracy system is pulling the strings. If it was somebody else, then he'd be like, oh yeah, well, that's kind of crazy. But because it's me, it's like, nah, it's this guy. Come on. Nobody cares what he's saying. But at the same time, there's no other answer for it. He's also uncircumcised is how this person fucking starts his conversation. This is one of my trolls. This is a bad guy supporting, genocidal, pedophile supporting troll. And he comes in, his first comment is about penises. Go figure. Do you guys know that right now, China, Russia, North Korea, Pakistan, Yemen, and Afghanistan are on high alert for conflicts between Iran and bad guy land, asking their citizens to immediately leave the conflicting countries. The situation in the Middle East is hanging on by a thread. The United States could intervene and trigger a global conflict. China, Russia, North Korea, Pakistan have warned that they will defend Iran and could attack the U.S. Do you guys know that? You don't believe in Anne Frank? No, because it's been debunked, you dumbass. It's already something that's been debunked. That it was a fucking... That the majority of her stuff was written in ballpoint pen, which didn't exist back then. But if you believe somebody can be blind, deaf, and dumb, meaning they can't speak, and still they become this... How does that even work? How could you possibly begin to teach someone to communicate that's blind, deaf, and can't speak? They can't hear anything, they can't see anything, but they can write books and shit. You can teach them language. Do you know how stupid that is? What did he just say? Only live comments are on there. Only one comment shows from the one from 3 hours ago. Interesting. He's starting to come around. You know, he's starting to see it. Like, it's undeniable at this point. I don't know how anybody can deny it. Oh, Get educated, my good. Yep, I'm ignorant because I think we should not be involved in a worldwide conflict because some psychopaths that make up 0.183% of the world's population keep attacking people. There's no legitimate reason why the United States should be defending bad guy land in this. And the truth is, you'll never see anyone give me a legitimate reason. They just say stupid shit. Isn't it interesting how Israel has the right to their holy land, this dumbass says. Yet, for supposedly thousands of years, they weren't there. Gee, that's weird. Almost like they didn't exist. Almost like it's a newer cult. You know how their language, Hebrew, is the youngest language in the world? Invented in the 1880s by Eliezer Ben Yehuda. Isn't it weird? It's weird how almost all of their narratives are lies. The people that lie consistently today about every fucking thing also happen to lie about their past. Isn't that weird? And to think that the only thing you can say is Israel has a right to their homeland. Why? Do the Native Americans have a right to this land? How many countries existed at one point were something else? Really, the Romans supposedly controlled all of that area. So did they get to come in and kick everyone out and be like, hey, this is, at one point in history, the Romans controlled this, so this is our ancestral land. Do you realize how stupid it is? Good boy, way to shut up. That makes sense. How come if I'm wrong, how come nobody can come in here and make reasonable, intelligent arguments? Nobody can sit here and invalidate or justify bad guy land? Yet, tens, hundreds of thousands of people are dying because of it, and we're apparently about to get plunged into a world war? Oh, appreciate you. I get what you're saying. Yeah, that's what he'll do. He'll shut the fuck up. That's what he does. Or he'll say something else stupid that has nothing to do with what's going on. Because that's all they have. Like you say, you go ahead and look. You go ahead and look all over the webs, all over the news. See what you can find. See if you can find a bad guy that is engaging in a conversation with a non-bad guy supporter, a pro-Palestinian, whatever it may be, and see if that person makes any reasonable arguments whatsoever. Ooh, that one almost hit me. That would have been nasty. Oh boy. It's good luck when birds poop on you. That's what they say. That's what stupid people say. How come you never see anything but bad guys telling people like me that we're not supposed to say these things? That we should just shut up? How come that's the only argument they're capable of making? Most people can provide a better argument for their fucking favorite baseball team. But not one of these people, the same people who refuse to make simple videos, 1 minute, 5 minute, 30-second, whatever videos about how stupid and bad I am, just to prove that they're a real person and not a Team Jorge bot. Isn't that strange? I'm wrong though, right? I'm just some crazy kooky conspiracy theorist, and yet nobody can argue. Why do you think that is? Or if they do argue, it'll be some sort of biblical bullshit. Like that fucking matters. On the previous video that I was doing before or after the comments got shut off, before I came back, because, you know, I want to see the comments. I want to see what people have to say. We were talking about how initially Bad Guy Land had a chance of being Uganda. The only reason it wasn't Uganda is because Theodore Herzl, the founder of Zionism, again, all sort of appears in the late 1880s, who was best buddies with the Rothschilds, he wasn't interested. He wanted Palestine and the surrounding areas. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? Why aren't subs real? Because they're not. Go look up parts 1 through 9 if you're that distracted by that. Not the World War III part of the title, but the submarine part. Trust me, it gets sufficiently debunked. Dang, he's still talking? World War III is on the verge of happening. Solely because your buddy Trump is all about it. Your buddy Trump who converted. Like, why does Trump have such a murder boner for Iran? Right? What is the reasoning for it? What's the benefit to the United States for us attacking Iran and sending thousands of American troops over to die? You know, all these other countries are threatening us. We always have World War III going on. Not really. Tell us the article. Well, there's plenty of articles. Just look it up. I got sent the screenshot of a post. But yeah, the other countries, they're China, North Korea, Pakistan, Yemen, and Afghanistan. Like, if you don't think that if you don't see that what's happening, you're not paying attention. Let's see what Newsweek has to say about Xi Jinping breaks silence on Bad Guy Land Iran conflict as China warns citizens. This is breaking. Chinese President, I don't know how to say his name, Jinping, has broken his silence on the escalating conflict between Bad Guy Land and Israel and Iran. Isn't it funny how Bad Guy Land always gets to go first? Stream messed up again. Didn't see till now. Yeah, it was. I had to reset it. All right. No more wars for Bad Guy Land genocidal regime. That's a great comment. It's amazing how anybody wouldn't be okay with that. Right? Why would anybody be okay with that? Expressing deep concern a day after Beijing urged its nationals to leave Iran amid waves of bad guy bombardment. His statement, delivered Tuesday on the sidelines of a summit in Kazakhstan, came just hours before President Donald Trump appeared to signal impending American military involvement, prompting criticism that such action would violate his No New Wars campaign pledge. Not only was it no new wars, you guys remember, Trump said he would end all the wars with just a phone call. Just like he was going to lower the gas and food prices. Remember? Remember all the stupid things you Trumpanzees used to say before the election? Iran received diplomatic support from China, a longtime strategic partner and leading export market, during the more limited exchanges of missile fire with Bad Guy Land in both April and October of last year. The latest crisis began Friday with Bad Guy Land's surprise strikes on a range of Iranian targets, including nuclear facilities, missile batteries, senior military leaders, and nuclear scientists. Iran responded with retaliatory missiles and drone attacks. Newsweek has reached out to Bad Guy Land Foreign Ministry with an emailed request for comment. Beijing is deeply concerned about the surging tensions in the Middle East created by Bad Guy Land's military strikes. China's official Xinhua news agency reported, citing Xi's remarks during a meeting with Uzbek President Shavkat Mirziyoyev at the China Central Asian Summit in Astana, Kazakhstan. We oppose any acts that infringe upon the sovereignty, security, and territorial integrity of other countries, Xi said, adding that escalation is not in the common interest of the international community. What's the channel stream about? Ending the cult that is not only committing genocide right now, but pulls the strings. While also, creating a narrative where we kill pedophiles. There's not really any sort of deviation from that. We need to end the control that the cult has over the rest of the world. Saw 246 in Georgia last week, 289 here. Yeah, that means nothing. Gas prices here are the exact same. Everything's actually gone up a little bit. 6 months into his term, and people are upset. Trump hasn't brought the world to peace. Yep, that's what it is. 6 months into his term. Yep. Not because he said he could do it. It has nothing to do with what he said. And the thing is, this is the same thing the Trumpanzees did last time. They kept saying the entire, just wait, red wave coming, red wave coming. And then when nothing happened, they would just keep waiting. It's only been 2 years. It's only been 3 years. Never mind the fact that Trump lost the first election by 2.7 million votes, and the swamp he promised to drain put him in anyway. Never mind that he promised Hillary would be in prison. She wasn't in prison.
He's been impeached. He's supposed to be in prison.
Never mind that he was best buddies with Epstein and then covered up his death, and then covered up the fact that they supposedly found a whole bunch of tapes, videos, tapes, DVDs, all marked with the famous person's name, the victim's name, and the age of the victim on them. Never mind that. Never mind the fact that Trump locked us down for some bullshit COVID. Never mind all that, right?
Oh, no, Biden did it.
Is it a genuine belief of yours? Yes, it's a genuine belief of mine that nuclear-powered submarines that can go under, that are the size of 80 school buses and can go underwater for 6 months at a time, and they don't exist. No. They do have boats that can go beneath the surface of the water. I believe that. Now, that's the last we'll talk about it, because that doesn't fucking matter, does it? The fuck? Why anybody is more concerned with my belief in submarines than they are World War III or any of this other shit we're talking about, all that does to me is point to your bot nature, point to who you really are. The Chinese leader reiterated his call for de-escalation and said Beijing is ready to play a constructive role in restoring stability to the Middle East. These were Xi's first public remarks on the current hostilities. On Monday, the Chinese embassy in Iran advised Chinese nationals to leave the country as soon as possible, designating 4 border crossings with Turkey, Armenia, Azerbaijan, and Turkmenistan as priority routes. Trump left the Group of 7 summit in Alberta a day earlier. Meeting with advisors after the conflict continued to escalate. He appeared to suggest impending U.S. military involvement, calling for Iran's unconditional surrender in both public remarks and on Truth Social. So Iran should just give in and let Israel attack them. That's literally what this piece of shit is saying. I mean, it's just insane to me that anybody would support this shit. And Free Palestine is yes, it's the statement, but it's not the statement. Free Palestine is the one we're allowed to say. Although it's frowned upon, we're allowed to say it. Just like people are allowed to say they oppose Zionism. But the reality is, the cult, it's the cult itself that believes they're born superior and that everything else that isn't them is goyim, here for their, to service them. That is the problem here. What about the gas at 246 in Georgia? Oh, that matters. Because you say you saw the gas in Georgia at this price, that means the rest of the country is also like that. That means Trump was telling the truth. He was like, I'm going to lower gas prices in Georgia. Oh, the stupidity. The stupidity. How come people can't come through here and make better arguments if I'm wrong? China has sought to fill what it sees as a leadership vacuum amid warning U.S. influence, particularly the global South. In the global South, Beijing has presented itself as a stable alternative in the Middle East, making multiple diplomatic tours since the start of bad guys' conflict in Gaza. They're calling it a conflict. It's not a conflict. It's not a conflict. It's not a war. It's a genocide. A conflict or a war would suggest equal, that both sides are able to fight each other. That both sides have the ability to hurt the other one. Does he believe in a cult as the Illuminati? Yes, I believe the thing that pulls the strings, the secret thing, is the thing everybody knows about and that they make movies about to convince us that it's that thing instead of their cult. No, it's the cult. It shouldn't be that. I'm not, it doesn't really, I'm not mincing my words here. What does that have to do with me, ability than other? What? Look up the definition of a genocide. Yeah, I don't have to. I know what it means. And that's what's absolutely happening right now. They're literally starving the people, the children. They've already killed or captured most of the men, so it's mostly women and children there now. And they're starving them. The videos of the fact is, the idea that bad guy land is the reason why the Palestinians need aid. They were self-sufficient beforehand. They were fine. But because they've been bombed to shit by bad guy land, they now need help. And it's bad guy land that is in charge of distributing that help. The videos of the people being locked into pens, waiting their opportunity to get food to supposedly to hopefully feed their children. Yet at the same time, they have to take food from the people that are known to poison drinking water systems. The people that intercepted all the pagers going into Lebanon and put explosives in a ton of them. 1,200 some, 1,300 some people injured. Yet you have to take food from the people that created your need to get food? Can you imagine how terrifying that is? Newborn babies dying of starvation. It's all disgusting. Yeah, Trumpanzees are really easy to see. Palestine had a chance to get the boot off their neck, but they vote. Yep, that's what it is. They had a chance to get the boot off their neck. Really? Oh, you must be a dumb fucking bad guy. Well, Palestine initially, with the initial draft, they were given the option to take 46% of their 44% of their land and give the bad guys 56%, but they didn't want it. Can you believe that? They were given a chance. You know, because of the hoax that happened, that supposedly happened in Germany. The Palestinians should have been willing to give up 56% of their land. Okay. They weren't even involved in the Germany situation. No, maybe. Like, it's just fucking insane. It's insane. You know, if somebody came to the United States and was like, all right, we're going to let you have 56% of it and the Americans get 44%, every single American would be like, we need to fight them. And you know I'm telling the truth? Because look at the comments. How come nobody comes in and tells me what I'm wrong about? Why do they just keep coming up with all kinds of goofy, crazy shit? You know? It's not good enough to read multiple articles. The information that they produce and they want us to know, it's not good enough to read that. It's not good enough to have been following this since long before the false flag and October 7th, where no bad guys were actually killed or taken hostage. And have been following this story for years now. It's not, no, I don't know what I'm talking about. But the fact that that's the best argument you can come up with, instead of just giving an argument as to what I'm wrong about. And now it's because I won't do this and I won't do that. I won't look up what they say and all this other bullshit. I'm literally looking up what they say. I'm not like on the Alex Jones page, even though Alex Jones doesn't do this. Alex Jones, for all of you who don't know,
the Jews, Mr. Jones, have inflicted tremendous harm upon the United States.
Let me ask you a question. From your perspective, should the Jews be gotten rid of?
Yes, they should. In every country...
All right, I'm going to stop you right there. I am Jewish.
Don't worry about anything there, huh? It's just another one of those video proofs that aren't good enough. Okay? I'm going to stop you right there. I'm not going to let you make whatever points you're going to make. I'm going to stop you. I'm going to stop you right there. It's all bullshit, you guys. Of course they're going to control the opposition. They know most of the people are going to fall for the Christianity bullshit. Like, I always think of it like it's raining truth, right? And Christianity is this huge umbrella. But it's not big enough to cover all of the people. So there's always going to be people on the outside of that umbrella. So what they need is another umbrella there, such as, space travel, science, round Earth, whatever it is. And that's at the border of the Christianity umbrella. And so that protects the next round of people from getting the truth. And the next round, they just have all these umbrellas there to keep you dry. to keep you from getting rained on. And the reality is people believe what they want to. You literally have no reason to believe anything. The only thing you know for sure is what's happening in your precise world. Like right now, my wife is in the house. I have an idea of what she's doing. I have an idea of what my kid's doing, but I don't know. And the only way I could know is if I either went and saw it for myself or they told me. And that's in my own house. What's happening across the street? What's happening down the street? What's happening in cities away, miles away, countries away? I only know what I'm told. And all of us, it's the same way. And then we sit there and we pick and choose which things we like, and then we say we believe those things. Never mind whether there's contradictory information or anything like that. If we like it, we believe it. And that's literally how everyone thinks, even the ones too arrogant to acknowledge it. No, all of us, yes, all of you. None of you have windows into what is actually happening. What Donald Trump is saying right now with his cohorts behind the screens, you don't fucking know. But it shows the type of person you are, what you choose to believe. All of you Christians out there that have that racist, supremacist mindset, you have no reason to believe anything Christianity. Literally nothing. Nothing in your life has proven any of that bullshit to be true. Love when people say, oh no, dude, I've witnessed lots of miracles. Well, tell me one. Tell me how you were strapped to the train tracks. The train was coming. You knew you were going to die. You closed your eyes and waited for impact. And then suddenly you were on the side. You heard the train going by. You were on the side of the tracks. And God must have come down and miracled you. Taken you off the tracks. There's no other way to describe it. Nothing else is a possibility other than God came down and interfered with its own plan. And not one of you people will tell me, you all claim to have seen miracles, but you don't have shit. Right, you have no reason to believe the things you believe in other than the attempt to make you look virtuous. Yes, my attempt to look virtuous. If I wanted to look a certain way or just wanted attention, why wouldn't I just sell Christianity? If I just wanted to be popular, why wouldn't I say the things that make you popular? Oh, God bless everything. Jesus is Lord. I could make a shit ton of money being a televangelist. Obviously, if I gain this much attention going against the grain, imagine if I went with the grain. If I just wanted attention or to seem virtuous or whatever, then I would tell you what you wanted to hear. What you already believe. And this is the desperate, dumb nonsense that comes my way. And I'm supposed to read all of it and keep addressing it. It's the same stupid nonsense. That isn't the only alternative. You could just not spew bleeding heart BS. Oh, I guarantee that's a white guy. That's a white guy who doesn't see the irony in crying about all of the other people that want to have rights, that want to have liberties. Why do all these other people want to have rights and liberties and stuff? This is my country. They don't see how them crying about all these other places and people is the same thing they're bitching about. But again, that's because they don't want to see it. You see what you want to see. If you want to see that there's a genocide taking place, you'll see it. There's more than enough evidence to prove it. And if you don't want to see it, you'll just ignore it. And if you ignore it, you don't see it. If anyone could provide me with any sort of the bad guys aren't the bad guys, research, information, whatever, I'd love to see it. I'd absolutely check it out. If you could provide me with some sort of proof to anything you claim you believe, I'm not scared of it. I'm more than happy looking it up and then debunking it. Yep, on Section 8. We live in the Section 8 neighborhood. Doesn't it look like a horrible Section 8 neighborhood we live in? And again, you have these people that are willing to say anything, which destroys their credibility. If you say stuff that I can easily debunk by turning my camera around, you show that you're just willing to say whatever you have to get attention, even if it's wrong. Meaning nothing you say from here on out has any sort of credibility because you're just willing to say whatever. All of these people that are commenting about me this and me that and blah, 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 have nothing negative to say about genocide, have nothing negative to say about the pedophilia, about the slavery, anything like that. They're just mad at me for talking about it. It's the most, goofy as shit, and it's so consistently goofy. I didn't mean to say most goofiest. I know people might jump on that if they're smart enough. Always making us the bad guy. Yes, you are absolutely the bad guy. And the thing is, you can't prove you're not. That's the thing. It shouldn't be easy to make you the bad guy. If you weren't bad guys, I wouldn't be able to do it. But the fact that you can't say anything, you can't deny anything, makes you the bad guy. Yeah, 100%. This is how this works. Look at all the ad hominem. All the people on here talking about me not being at work. Well, what about you? What are you doing? You'll be here no matter what time I go live for hours on end, any day of the week. When do you work? Or are you working? Is this part of your job? Yep, because it's not white guys, white Christians who are constantly the ones caught raping children, right? White Christians, and then, obviously the bad guys. Yeah, it's halfies like me you constantly see being put in that position, huh? It's funny. You have guys like Gordon Flowers who are he's constantly catching pedos and always talks about how he's this huge Trump supporter, yet he wants to ignore the fact that Trump was best friends with, pedo number one in recent times, covered up his death, covered up the tapes, is said to have been there a bunch of the time. There's all these pictures of him, where his daughter's grinding up on him. He's got quotes saying, "Is it wrong to find your daughter more attractive than your wife? If she wasn't my daughter, I'd be dating her," and, just crazy shit. Not to mention the Katie Johnson thing and all these other things, but he's a Trump supporter, and the majority of the people he catches are Trump supporters. Funny how that works. Yup, schizophrenia. Look at me and all my multiple personalities. Thinking that there's people in the woods trying to get me. I'm a schizophrenic. They're so stupid they can't even come up with a better term. Or more accurate term. This is how stupid the opposition is. This is what ACT-IL is. These are the people that are pushing the United States into a war right now we have nothing to do with. Your American children are going to die because of this bullshit. Or does that mean you got to do something typical here? Look at how desperate it is. How come nobody comes in here and says the bad guy people are good people because they do this, because they help out that, because they're, they provide this, they make the world a better place because of that? How come nobody ever says that? It's pretty interesting, huh? Thrives off of hate. I thrive off of hate. Yes, I shouldn't hate pedophiles. I shouldn't hate genocidal people. I shouldn't hate slave masters. This is just another one of their stupid tricks, right? The idea that you shouldn't have a healthy relationship with your hate. It's all love. It's love. You can't hate things. Don't hate pedophile cults. And you see how I just destroy their arguments? They never do the same thing to me. Trump on the Epstein files, absolutely. But that's not even new. Like that's everybody knows that already. It's crazy how people don't know the Katie Johnson story. That in June of 2020, Trump and Epstein were defendants. The actual legal paperwork exists where they're being called the defendants for raping a 13-year-old girl on 4 occasions, or assaulting a 13-year-old girl and raping on one of the occasions, at least one. And that the Katie Johnson story was in June of 2020, right when we were all locked down and completely distracted by COVID. How many of you knew Trump was the defendant in a case like this? And the only reason it didn't go through is because the Katie Johnson camp had to quit. They were like, we're getting harassed. We don't feel safe. No one's protecting us. No one's even talking about it. We just need to back down. How do you determine who is the bad person? Do you go off history definition because good guys always win since they write the history of morality? I don't believe in history. Our history is a complete and total manipulation. And I understand that the majority of what we see is presented to us by those same winners, the bad guys. And yet the only thing that they can show us makes them look terrible. That's where the secret lies, right? They're literally showing us the best version of themselves, and the best version of themselves is horrendous. And then if you happen to look into it deeper, you look up the cult and what the cult believes and all that kind of shit.
Oh my God. Stand up straight.
Holy shit.
Oh my God.
Come here.
Oh my God.
What the hell? Still not taller than Nick, but Jesus. Knew that was going to happen. The rest of the world is laughing at America. You realize that? I don't think they're laughing at us. I think they hate us. And the thing is, they don't hate us. They don't hate the average citizen. They hate the control scheme. And I think most of the world realizes that the civilians are just as much victims as they are. Right? I mean, you see it. Rick Steves has gone to Iran. Rick Steves did a whole fucking, series on going to Iran. And nothing but love. The people consistently, we love you, we love America, we love, you know. Go watch Where in the World is Osama bin Laden? The Morgan Spurlock film that really put a kink in his career. It's actually amazing that the movie exists in the way it does. But I just think that, like, because they put the trip to Bad Guy Land at the end, that the bad guy screeners maybe just weren't watching it, or they just didn't care. They wanted us to see how awful they are. But throughout the whole movie, he doesn't get any sort of pushback.
Your phone first today?
No, yesterday you did.
No, I didn't. I didn't get games. I didn't
Oh
get
yeah,
phone,
you're right.
so.
You're right. You know, he went all over the Middle East and didn't receive any pushback until he went to Bad Guy Land. And within minutes of being in Bad Guy Land, he's being assaulted and you know, a mob forms and they're going to attack him. So much so that the security that had been off screen the entire movie with the AR-15s finally had to step in. And they had to just get the fuck out of there because they were about to be attacked. And it only happened in bad guy land. And ignore the problems. And the answer to the world laughing at America should be to keep acting the same and ignore our problems. That makes sense. Not sure what the fuck you're trying to say, but that didn't make any sense. Tend to your kids instead of... Yup, that's what I should do. I should be hovering over my kids the whole time. They shouldn't be able to exist on their own and have their own time to themselves. I should be the helicopter parent who's just hanging over them. What do you need? What do you need? What do you need? What do you need? Never mind that there's a wife in there who's tending to their needs as we speak. You should stop talking about this. Who in their right fucking mind would do that? Who in their right fucking mind goes on YouTube to tell people to get off of YouTube? What kind of dumbass logic is that? Yeah, now we're going to watch this backpedaling. That makes sense. Don't fly the pedo flag. I got to remove you if you fly the pedo flag. So don't fly that. How long do you have to watch to find out where bad guy land is? Well, it depends on how stupid you are, I guess. Should be pretty obvious. It's the only group we're not allowed to talk about. It's the ones committing genocide right now. I can't figure out what you was saying. I just now figured out how to turn on my phone. Yes, bad guy land, exactly. And the bad guy cult. Because bad guy land is just sort of the house, the invisible house. It's the cult inside that is the real problem. Seriously, who comes onto YouTube to tell people that are on YouTube not to be on YouTube? I'm going to come watch you and tell you not to do it. Does that even make sense? This is bad guy land tactics. This is what they do. I keep forgetting that the chatters prefer to antagonize instead of looking at people doing wrong and asking them how to stop. Exactly. Oh, look, we have somebody proudly flying the pedo flag. Seems weird that I acknowledge that if you fly the pedo flag, I'm going to block you. And so they then fly the pedo flag. Oh, here comes this crybaby. We would ask, but he won't answer. Blah, 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 blah. Always the same dumb nonsense from the same cowardly bitch-ass people. Profiles. It's Team Jorge, man. This is what they do. This is what they do. You know, it's weird. I used to read the bad guy news to you guys all the time. Back when I was trying to convince you that it was happening and that we need to act before it happens. Now that it's happening, I feel weird reading it because it just feels like I'm advertising for the bad guys at this point. You know, they put it in print. Like, haha, look, we just killed 70 Palestinians overnight. Haha. And I hate that shit, man. And why is some of the world in this chat adding full fuel to your fire without trying to understand? Because they're bots. It's fucking bots. What's really frustrating about this guy is he says stuff like, celebrates are real, then says, based stuff like bad guy land is a monstrous state. The funny thing is, I never said any of those things on this chat. The whole submarines aren't real is the show title. But it's funny how they always seem to forget the second thing that says part and then what the show's about, which is World War III, but they don't want to talk about that. And it's totally based. It's based to think that, like, how could anyone in their right mind not see what's happening and be opposed to it? Bad Guy Land keeps attacking all these places, and now America First Trump is talking about America sending more, because we already have thousands and thousands of troops there. Don't fool yourself. The two largest aircraft carriers in the United States fleet are stationed outside of Bad Guy Land right now. By the way, how much do you think those things cost to run each day? Kind of strange, but hey, let's not think about that. But to think like you're just, it's not like 10 years ago, this was a much harder conversation because it wasn't like outwardly, braggartly happening in front of everything. But now it's like right here, it's happening right in front of you. You're literally watching Trump talk about it. You're watching Netanyahu manipulate everything, and you're watching it happen, and yet you still want to pretend like it's not, I guess. I don't even know. Everybody here, everybody in the United States knows not to send your kids to Hollywood. Why? Because the bad guys will rape them. We all know that. We all know who controls Hollywood. We all know who controls the government, who controls the money. We know these things, but they've told us we're not allowed to talk about them, so we don't. And the crazy part is to say that one group has the money, the power, the control. They've literally tricked you into thinking that that's some sort of slur. That's some sort of bad remark. To say that 0.183% of the world's population, 2% of the US population controls everything, that's such an incredible accomplishment. You'd think they'd be proud of it. You'd think, especially with what braggarts they are, that they would brag about it. But if they did, then it would acknowledge that it's not just some chicken with its head cut off running around, that everything happens by design. That it's designed to happen this way. That's why it's happening. And they could make it better, they just choose not to. That's why they tell you not to say it. It's because you come off as nuts. Yep, okay. When people finally piece together that you're talking about the J runners, yep, right, that's what it is. You believe in submarines because you were told to. Simple as that. But I know that if I called this like the Intergalactic Peace Society, then you would come on here and be like, oh my gosh, you're intergalactic? It's intergalactic. Oh, okay, I get it. Well, because you said it in the title of the thing, so that must mean that's what it's only about. People are just stupid. My aunt had a radio show. She called it the Wasabi Bistro. Do you think that her radio show had anything to do with wasabi or a bistro? No. She liked the name. Do you think Smashing Pumpkins, every time they got on stage, they just jumped around and smashed pumpkins? No. The Smashing Pumpkins. No, that was the name of their group. But when you're stupid and you're looking for an excuse, you'll find it, no doubt about it. If you want to, what I always find amazing is it's almost like it's a trap, right? Title the video something and then talk about something else and watch as the people in the comments consistently try to talk about something else. Or they consistently try to talk about the submarine. They won't talk about what you're talking about. Like my belief in submarines outweighs genocide, outweighs pedophilia, outweighs slavery, outweighs all those things. That's what's more important. It's fucking silly, man. know, and you see the arrogance that so many people have to say that, well, you know, I don't believe in a lot of the stuff they say, but this thing's true. You know, that you think that you can pick and choose which things are true. You're such a good detective that you can decipher the truth from the bullshit that you're being fed. That Ukraine stuff is bullshit. Oh, yeah, but the bad guy stuff, no, that's all legit. They're the victims. They're not attacking. Those are preemptive strikes. Those are defensive strikes. They're just before there's any need to defend against anything. They're preventing the need for defensive strikes by doing defensives. Those are not acts of war. Those are not, you know, aggression. That's not, no, they're defensive. That's why you separated this. Now the people's fault. You put the time. Yeah. It's your fault for being stupid, right? For looking for your way out. You choose to focus on one part of the title because that one's easier for you because you're stupid. You can't, you know, you don't have any other arguments any other way, but you can say things like, well, of course submarines are real. I've seen movies. One time when I went to a harbor, there was a submarine there and they let us take a tour. We got to walk on the top of it and, well, yeah, that's for sure. Never mind you put World War III in the title. I don't want to talk about that part, though. It's just silly, man. It's just silly. Wait, you're called the Smashing Pumpkins, and you guys have nothing to do with gardening? I thought this was a gardening group. Why would you call yourself the Smashing Pumpkins if you make music? You should call yourself the Music Makers, because I'm too stupid to get past titles. I know that would mean there's a lot of bands called the Music Makers, but then I would at least know what you're talking about. Do you know who owned and ran the transatlantic slave trade? Same bad guys, same markets were closed on their holidays because there were too few settlers and buyers. At this point in life, why would you even believe the slave narrative? Why do you believe the Christopher Columbus narrative, the Civil War narrative? When you understand that all they do is lie, and that the history that you know of, like you can easily look it up, easily look up oldest videos, oldest photos of Chicago, oldest photos of New York, oldest photos of whatever city, and you're going to see these vast, sprawling metropolises with no one in the pictures, no people there, dirt fucking roads and no one in the pictures. All the buildings already there. Meaning, you know, if the picture's from the 1860s or whatever, all those buildings were made prior to the 1860s. All of them, hundreds and thousands of buildings. Monumental buildings, you know, with ornate everything, from the fucking floor to the ceiling, everything's ornate. Made of marble and granite and all these extremely hard substances. Yeah, they just made all that shit. Yeah, no problem. I feel bad for you, dude. You clearly have some good intentions, but God, you're epitome of American whataboutism. If calling out bad guy land is so important, shut up about the other shit. Oh, right. Because again, you can't follow along, right? There doesn't need to be multiple examples to convince people that, hey, maybe it's not. Because the whole bad guy land narrative is pretty obvious, and yet people still don't believe it totally, right? So you have to come up with other things to show them that they're being manipulated in all these different ways. But hey, you feel bad for me because I go live and you watch me, not the other way around. Free Diddy and then Trump 2028. Again, your typical Trumpanzee who can only say pull cord responses. They can't actually speak like normal humans do. They just say these dumbass phrases. Anybody who's America first, why would you support Trump? He's literally destroying the First Amendment. The First Amendment to the Constitution, the thing that, like, the foundation of America, the Constitution, the very first thing. Yeah, free speech and all that. Nah, that's not important. And then how come nobody talks about the fact that Trump and Diddy were pictured together lots of times? Trump clearly went to Diddy parties. Kick out the illegals. All right, you got to go then, dude. You got to go. Because I know you're dumb and white and you think America is the dumb white man's land. But you're an illegal immigrant. Just because your parents had sex and your grandparents had, your grandpa was fucking tearing that up. Your grandma was like, ooh, ooh, Herbert, give it to me. Yeah, Gertie. Yeah, Gertrude. Whose pussy is that, Gertrude? Ooh, it's yours, Herbert. It's yours, Herbert. Don't you love thinking about your grandparents having sex? Your grandparents were having sex. That's why you have rights other people don't have. You're a fucking clown. But that's average white guy. You know, average dumbass white guy. That's how they think. And they have to think so fucking rigidly and so, you know, blinders on, because they have to maintain their viewpoint. And the only way you can maintain such insane viewpoints is by keeping yourself stupid. It's what they do. You know, the evidence is plenty. There's plenty of evidence to show you the conspiracy is real. You know, the bad guy conspiracy is a real one. Why do you think we give the bad guys $3.8 billion a year? Cash money, one lump sum payment every year. And that's just the base amount. That doesn't count all the other fucking, the Abraham Accords that we have to pay for every year. That only benefit bad guy land. The you know, all the weapons and shit that they buy from us using grant money. They don't buy anything from us. Everything that they supposedly buy from us is paid for by grants that are set aside every year so that they don't have to use their $3.8 billion on us. And this is that part where we could get into memorandums of understanding and all these other political terms, but you guys are too dumb. You don't know that shit. I'm sitting here acting like I could go into a first grade classroom and start talking about all this political shit and the kids would have good responses. Of course they're not. These are idiots. You know, most of these are bot profiles, and the bot profiles are programmed by bad guy idiots. They're stupid, stupid people. I just can't stress that enough to you. The one thing the average goyim needs to realize is that they are not superior to us in any way. The only reason why they control everything is not because they're smarter or better. It's because they're more savage. It's because they're more supremacist. And they're just well organized, but they're the ones that are willing to starve children to get what they want. Most people just can't do that. You know, most people aren't rapers. Most people aren't warmongers, but they are. And they you know, that's what separates them from us, is their unity and their psychopathy, because they're psychopaths. I mean, look what they do to their own children that they supposedly love. The most important ritual is the cutty, slicey, sucky. Sucky. After the cutty, slicey part. While they all sit around and watch it happen. Like, it's just disgusting. And that's their number one thing. That's the most important thing in their cult. It's as important as anything else and more important than most of the other rituals. And that's just the small piece. Then there's the ritual sexual abuse that runs rampant. That's well documented. What is it? What was it? The Bottom of Darkness, I believe it's called. It's a.
Mom told me to play. And he said, no, I'm not going to listen.
Okay, well then tell him to just put it down. Here comes the other one. Dad, it's coming. There it is.
Play on the other Switch.
Dude, just play with your brother
I
for a
don't
minute.
want to play with him.
Okay, well I'm gonna be done soon, so you probably just want to.
Oh my. Nate, stop.
Close the door.
Switch it. He's just doing it anyway.
Well, didn't Mom say to do it?
Yes, but I don't. He can play on the other Switch. I was playing my game. I was doing my
Nathan, do your own thing, man.
Mom said to play 2 play.
Okay, but he doesn't want to.
That's what Mom told him.
Okay, but he doesn't want to. You don't do things like that if you don't want to. Just stop. Yes, the top priority should be calling out the same Khazarians that have subverted every facet of power since 1 BC when the trade routes connected the east to the west. But see, what you don't understand is that whole narrative that you believe is because they told you to believe that. Everything over 100 years is hearsay, and even the things in that time frame are still hearsay. You don't experience it, you're just told. But the whole 1 BC, 15 AD, blah, blah, that's all just bullshit that you have to believe about a society, about a narrative in societies that they seem to leave a lot out of. Especially considering when you understand that Tartaria actually existed, and it was this actual world power that dominated forever, and that's flat. Like the Russian flag shows the white knight, the Illuminati, whatever white knight, stepping on the Tartaria flag. When you realize that Tartaria was a large part of the society and you never heard about it growing up, then you understand that history is just a manufactured narrative. The fact is there are buildings in every city that defy explanation. Multiple buildings. When you look at the history of the building, it defies the explanation that you're given. When you understand that the reset concept and all that stuff, then you understand not only is everything before the reset bullshit, everything after the reset that didn't tell you about the reset is bullshit. Oh yes, keep the kids safe as they're arguing over which switch they're going to play on. Look at the desperation. Look at the already admitted bad guy is now desperately trying to get somebody else to fight his fight for him. Because he can't acknowledge or debunk anything I have to say. This is what they do. They're fucking bitch-ass, cowardly, piece of shit people who I wish were here in front of me because I'd spit in their face and watch them cower. They take it. What's up, man? You good? Same old same. This is insane what's happening right now. And it's only validated by the bullshit, cowardly comment section that is trying to get other people to fight their fight for them because they can't do it. And he said he doesn't believe in our cult and that he doesn't support bad guy land. Yeah, his kids were playing video games and arguing over which video game system that they wanted to play, because one wanted to play with the other one, but the other one didn't. And he told the other one that he should just play by himself and respect his brother. Can you believe that? When one person wants you to do it, you do it. What? I would give anything to hear that phone call and hear the bullshit that they come up with. He's smarter than me. Goyim aren't supposed to be smarter than me. Nah, we can't debunk you because when we do, blah, 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 blah. It's always the same things. Instead of just saying it and saying it for the benefit of those other people here. Maybe I won't believe it, but shit, it's right. So you could just say it. Instead of just saying stuff, you don't say it because I won't believe you. Aww. You know, I know you're not going to acknowledge the fact that you're a sick pedophilia cult and most of you are bots anyway, but I still say it. And he doesn't just believe me when I tell him stuff. Even though I don't actually tell him stuff, I just tell him that I would tell him stuff. But he won't believe it, so I tell him stuff. Yeah. Fucking insane. I watch you daily before I go to sleep. That's amazing. That's amazing. You could be literally watching anything else in the world. You could be fucking watching porn and jerking off before you go to sleep. But you watch this instead. That's amazing. I appreciate the hell out of that. And literally been, I'm supposed to believe the crybaby because he's literally been on a submarine. Yup. Now we're going to go back to the submarine conversation because the genocide conversation isn't much more important. Can you believe that these idiots actually think this works? It's the same group that says if the UN opens up the books on the bad guy land, then that's going to demonize bad guy land. Don't you open up the books and look at what we've done? That makes us look bad. They literally think that that's a viable thing. Like, oh, well, shit, we wouldn't want to make you look bad. That's the argument that they have. When the UN says they want to open up the books to see if this is a colonization or the temporary occupation that they say it is, their response is not, well, there's this, and it's that if you open up the books, that's going to make us look bad. Don't do that. And then that's okay for some reason. But yeah, I believe the guy that says he's been on the submarine before. Don't you? Don't you believe the random profile? Oh, they just make this so easy. Like I say, I wish it was better because it would be, I would be able to sharpen my sword better, The best blades are forged from the harshest conditions kind of thing. And yet this is just nothing but easy. I just got here a couple of minutes ago and ain't been here for a while, crybaby. So what about the mini sub? Oh, what about the mini sub that imploded? Yeah, because again, you know that because why? It's the same reason you know about what Kanye said that one time. Kanye's been saying all kinds of shit, but you don't hear that being pushed all over the news and all that. Yet when Kanye said I can say anti-supremacy things if I want to. When he said that I can say that because I'm black and black and African, North African, those are Semitic people. Calling the Palestinians anti-Semitic is fucking silly. They're Semitic people. All of the people of that region, from Iran, Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, Yemen, these are all Saudi Arabia, these are all Semitic people. They don't own that term. But he said that. He said that everyone in the entertainment industry has bad guys in their contracts who make money off of them. So he exposed the conspiracy. And he did the threat. I'm going to go DEFCON 3 on the bad guys, which is, just a nonsense, nothing threat, but it's a threat nonetheless. Kanye was an example for us to show you what happens when a guy with a billionaire thinks he can A, threaten, B, expose the conspiracy, and C, say anything he wants. At the exact same time they were putting Netanyahu and the most supremacist coalition, outwardly supremacist coalition to ever exist in bad guy land. They were putting them in charge. Even though he's under indictment and all this other shit, they were making him basically a dictator who can't be voted out. He's in for life now if he wants. While they were doing that, while that was happening, we were distracted by what Kanye West had to say. And at the end of the day, Kanye didn't out any bad guys. He only talked about black people. The next interview, he was talking about Michael Jordan and LeBron James and Jay-Z and Beyonce and, you know, just naming off black people. But the only reason we knew about it is not because you guys follow Kanye. Everybody just follows Kanye, and when he tweeted that stuff, we were all just so upset about it. No. We only knew about Kanye because they told us to know about Kanye, to care about Kanye, to be upset about Kanye. So we would learn. We would learn that we aren't to threaten, we aren't to expose, and we can't say whatever we want. Because look at what they did to that guy. He lost $2 billion in one day. If they can do that to him, what can they do to you? And for all of you that aren't willing to speak on these things, but you still have passion, so you share things, well, then they brought in Kyrie Irving, who only shared a link. He didn't title it anything. He didn't say anything about it. He just shared a link to a movie called From Hebrew to Negro. And it was about how black people are actually the original bad guys. I wouldn't have known about that had the news not told me about it and then I looked it up. But because the news made such a big deal about it, it got a lot more attention than it ever would have. And they knew it. They did it on purpose. Kanye is the warning to people like me. Kyrie was the warning to people like you who, you know, I say share the link to show you that if you share a link, look what they did to Kyrie. Kyrie makes them money. Kyrie's one of the best players in the league. Look what they did to him for sharing a link. What do you think they'll do to you? And just in case you didn't quite get the message, well, Dave Chappelle just happened to be scheduled to host Saturday Night Live that week. And he happened to do a monologue where he laid out the rules to you. He flat out said, you know, he opened his monologue by reading a note saying, you know, I pledge allegiance to the J people because, you know, I don't want to lose any of my stuff, and please don't. This is just a monologue. It was approved by Lauren Michaels. I can't just come out here and speak. I didn't just happen to be the host this week. It's all set up. And the first thing Dave says after he reads his note is, I've been in Hollywood for a long time, and there are two words that you never say in succession that and something and good comes out of it, and that is the and bad guys. And everything he said got huge laughter, except for the one thing he said when he said, well, you know, I do have to say that you can't blame black people for what's happened to the bad guys in history, because black people didn't do it. The crowd went silent. And it was kind of awkward, and then somebody in the background went, yeah, and Dave went, ah. And then everybody laughed about that. But when Dave said you can't blame black people, well, that wasn't part of the gig. Oh, look, the doofus dude is back. Most average people consumed by the same narrative by the bad guys don't know what bad guys are. Well, that's why if you're watching for more than a minute, you should be able to figure it out. But there's a reason why. If I was talking about the Jesuits, it wouldn't be a problem. If I was talking about Islam, it wouldn't be a problem. If I was talking about Christianity, it wouldn't be a problem. There's only one group I'm not allowed to talk about. You can figure it out. You don't need my hand to, you don't need me to hold your hand through everything. Yep. Yep. I'm sitting here talking about submarines over and over again because I can't talk about the other things, right? So stupid. Mm. The stupidity is outrageous. It's outrageous how stupid all this is, and how like, if it wasn't bots, if it really was the average American behind these profiles, I'd be pretty scared. It would fit because, you know, the average white person is a racist piece of shit. But, you know, and the thing is, if you're not, then you shouldn't have a problem with me saying that, and you should be able to acknowledge it, right? I didn't say all, I said the average. So, you take with it what you want to, just like with everything else. But you see what's happening, man. You see this crazy bullshit where instead of condemning pedophilia, instead of condemning genocide and slavery, you get these clowns that want to keep talking about submarines. World War III, we're on the brink of World War III, and you want to talk about submarines. It's shocking, man. And it's all telling. Like I say, the one thing people have to understand is they're not going to just come in here and be like, yes, bad guy land is targeting you, and we're trying to disrupt your feed, and we censor you, and we're scared of you because you tell the truth and you do it in such a great way, and they're not going to come in and say those things. They're going to come in and say stupid shit because that's all they can say. They're desperately trying to shoot the messenger so the message doesn't get through. They don't address the message because they can't. Anything they say is just going to strengthen my argument. And so it does. It falls on you people, the ones watching this that may be on the fence or, you know, maybe sort of looking around, discovering whatever. Answer the question for yourself. If I'm so wrong and bad, why don't they just come in and say it? What is it that I'm exactly getting wrong? What part isn't true about anything I'm saying? Why would what I do outweigh anything in my personal life, outweigh the genocide that's taking place right now? If I drank all day and I smoked all the crack and I ate the meth and I shot the dope and I drank I already said I drank. I beat my wife and I hit my kids and I kicked my dog and I'm just this horrible person. Does any of that outweigh a genocide? Does any of that outweigh slavery? Pedophilia? That's sort of your like smoking gun here. At the end of the day, there's literally nothing I could do that would outweigh what's happening here. And yet the people, the profiles who keep commenting try to make it about me when I'm talking about the bigger picture. Why? Who's going to do that? It's what they do. You bring up what's happening, like, well, Iran shot some missiles. I mean, again, look at the Charlie Kirk thing. It's such a great example of it. I don't think Palestine exists. That's why we're on different worlds, because I don't think Palestine exists. It's called Judea and Samaria. Like what it's called, what the land is called by whatever group calls it whatever, is the important thing here. Not the murdering of the genocide of children. Not the starvation of a population in just the most horrendous ways. Not all the rape and the killings and the beheadings, you know. They tried to claim 40 babies. There were 40 babies found in a room, beheaded and burned. What were 40 babies doing in a room together? No parents, nothing around them. How did that happen? Turns out it didn't happen. It was all just fake propaganda bullshit that fell apart immediately, so it went away. You know? You don't think they give us this platform for free without trying to manipulate us on it, do you? Do you? Look at the consistent comment. So here we go. So it seems that he's just wasting his life away crying on here daily for many hours. The ones that do agree with him get bashed and called idiots anyway. He will never gain any following. That's what this guy came up with. Instead of multiple sentences here, instead of addressing anything I'm getting wrong, he's just talking to the ether, trying to get some attention, hoping one of his fellow trolls comes and strokes him a little bit. That's how stupid these people are. And they think this works. If you open up the books on bad guy land, you demonize bad guy land. That's how stupid they are. Literally, not one of them comes in and tries to make bad guy land seem like good guy land. Not one of them sits here and tries to even deny the fact that they're consistently caught with the pedophile rings and the sexual abuses and all that shit. Ritual sexual. They don't try to deny any of that shit. The only thing they try to do is tell me not to talk about it. For hours. I'm just going to keep watching you because I hate you so much. I'm going to watch you every day and tell you how much I hate you. Could literally be doing anything else in the world with their lives. I'm wasting my life, but they're not wasting theirs watching me. And you know, me who's trying to get people to rally against the cult that controls us. The cult that's committing genocide. The cult that's raping children. Yeah, oh man. This sounds totally normal. This sounds like, you know. I mean, these are the people that go to the police and they stand outside the police station. Stop trying to stop crimes. What are you police officers doing? Going around trying to stop crimes. Don't you try to stop crimes. Hours of their life are wasted trying to get my attention, saying stupid things. Now, they could get my attention. They easily could. They could say, hey, dude, you're wrong about this, and this is why, and I would address it. But instead, they're just trying their damnedest. Like, I just picked one random comment and read it to you. It could have said anything. I didn't pre-read it. It could have been like, dude, oh, you're wrong about this, you're wrong. It could have said anything. Instead, it just furthers my point. Like, what else do you guys need? Whether it's the Naftali Bennett video telling you that they control Wikipedia, whether it's Team Jorge and how they control social media, whether it's ACT-IL, which is, you know, the incentive program, the app that they used to incentivize their cult members to attack people like us and report us and do everything they can to try to stop us from. It's like it's all right there. It's all, you don't even have to dig deep. It's not hidden. It's well known. And that 10 minutes you clearly didn't learn much or have anything long enough to make a valid statement. Right. Claiming 10 minutes, claiming he's not here all the time. He used to be here every day, but then claimed that I was only here 2 times. I was only here 2 times. Just stupid, man. It's just insane stupidity. And here we are. Day after day after day. The only thing that keeps happening is I am more and more right by the day. Same dumb trolls, same dumb patterns, same dumb everything, and they can't provide anything. Like these people know what they're getting into. They know the conversation they're stepping into. And yet they still just, like, again, it's like the cops, you see them in the First Amendment auditor videos, where the cops walk up and be like, you're just looking for one of us to say something stupid so you can put it on YouTube and get lots of views. You're just trying to bait us. And they're like, yeah, and you're actually doing it for me right now, thank you. and the cop just continues to do it. It's the same thing. If I was wrong, they would say so. You know, if I was wrong, they would focus on it, and it would just be simple. In the 30s at the World's Fairs, these bad guys were doing mock child sacrifices. They've been kicked out of 109 countries, now 110 for a reason. You lose people with delusional views about subs. Yeah, because I'm the one that keeps talking about it, right? What a stupid ass. And again, you believe in submarines because of what? Why do you keep talking about it? You're so stupid. I know that any show that has a title on it, if they don't exactly talk about the title, like Sex in the City, you know, HBO, big show, Sex in the City. That's all it was sex. It was an hour of sex in the city, right? Or was it more about some little princess and all her problems, shoe collection and all these other things? Wasn't it about that, or was it about only sex in the city? And when it wasn't only about sex, were you like, man, I came here to watch Sex in the City? Just the stupidity it takes to do that. I'm only going to focus on one part of your title, Mom. And then I'm going to come here and I'm going to watch you talk about nothing that has to do with that. But I'm going to keep bringing it up. Oh, man, it's insane. It's insane. You know, it's funny how people think because they're stupid, everybody else is just as stupid. And they're not. But hey, you know, let's keep placating these guys. Let's keep making it work for them. Can you imagine being like, I agree with what you're saying, but I just don't like the title of your fucking video. Why are you calling it that? I don't like that you called your video this thing. Will you call it something else for me, please? What a dumbass. Oh. Such stupidity. Such utter stupidity. Why isn't Sex in the City showing me sex? I came here to see girls having sex in New York City. That's all I came here for. I don't understand. If they're not having sex in the city all the time, then why is it called Sex in the City? What the hell? I am confused. I don't understand things. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for the fun. You got to make it fun sometimes, and I appreciate that. You know, it is a fucking horrendous situation, and you know, it's hard to be all smiles. It's hard to be positive. It's hard to be... I see there's all these... I saw this thing that said 100 new millionaires are added every day to the index or whatever. And you just think, all these millionaires, and nobody is out there buying up ad space, you know, supporting those who are speaking out. Like, all of these millionaires are just content with the genocide that's taking place. And it's really, you know, it's just an illusion, because that's what's happening here in the States. But the protests that are happening all over the world, you know, the Free Palestine protests are really impressive. There really is a lot of fucking good people out there that are misguided in their protests, because they're still talking about Free Palestine when you have to end the cult. It's the cult that is the problem. The cult that is attacking Iran, the same cult that is attacking Lebanon and Syria and Yemen. It's all the same shit. Focusing, whoa, Free Palestine. If you say Free Palestine, that's all you can talk about. We can't always talk about Free Palestine. What do you mean free Palestine and then you're talking about Iran? You can't do that. If you say free Palestine, that's all you can do. Talk about free Palestine. Look at the dumbass. I'm gonna use capital letters because I'm yelling now. I just love how they keep doubling down and like making my point stronger. I'm expressively saying you have to be really stupid to not get it. And they're like, look how stupid we are. We don't get it. And if you don't think that's bad guys, I mean, I'm telling you, the bad guys are the dumbest people in the world. That's what decades of inbreeding does. It stupefies you. They're fucking stupid because of all the inbreeding. And they know they're stupid. That's why this is the best they can. Listen, if they could come up with better things, they would. You guys have to remember that. Their sole purpose here is to distract and try to infiltrate and askew things and confuse things. And they're trying everything they can. And if all it took was, if they could simply just debunk me and make me look stupid, like I'm just lying and I lose all my credibility and all that, they would do that. They yearn for that shit. Let me screw up on some math, or let me screw up on a date or something like that. They're quick to say so. They're obviously paying attention to what's being said. So if they could do the same thing when it came to any of this bad guy stuff, they would. No, but the title in the video, it's talking about, you said submarines. You said submarines in the title. I just can't get over it. I love it. Anyway, again, as always, go watch Hollywoodism. Hollywoodism has the best, it's the best movie you can see. It's the greatest piece of film ever created. And it's because it's not us making it. It's them making it about themselves. They have the audacity to make such a blatantly obvious video bragging about how they not only invented Hollywood, they controlled Hollywood, and they used it to create the America they wanted to create. You could say that the American dream is actually the bad guy dream. A woman actually says that in the film. Go watch it. Go watch it and then tell me how I'm wrong about what it's saying. Do something. Do something so that when you come here next time, because you will, you're better prepared. You actually will say stuff that doesn't sound fucking stupid. So go watch Hollywoodism. The link's in the description. Go get your free download, www.the-bilderberg-group.com. It's all free. Free music. Go check it out. Go share it with people. Music is the most powerful weapon we have. That's why they control it like they do. That's why they only allow black people to put out the dumbest fucking stereotype bullshit. Because they know it controls people. Music crosses all cultures. You might not know all the words, but you could look them up and then you realize, oh, this song is about this, and it's a voice for you. So you get the free download. It'll ask you how much you want to pay. You can put 0. You can put 11,565.98. You can put whatever you want in there. But all we ever ask is that you share it with someone. So go get your free download. And then there's also the links to the Facebook page, where if I'm not live there, I'll be not live here, I'll be live there. But it's two of our newer songs, COVID Sauce and Donald Trump Hates America. Go like, share, and sub this. Do whatever we got to do, all the stereotypical things. But most importantly, I know it's going to kill my audience. It's going to lower my audience a lot. But pedophiles, kill yourself.